What's going on? Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to your reading. I just spent 5 minutes on record deciding if I want which one I was going to do next because four people left who bought on the same day. So, I made my mind up and I chose you, my friend. I chose you. So, with this said, I will go off camera, even though I have my beautiful new sexy football shirt. It's like one of my passions. It's like all I wear. I've always been like this. Um, all right. Yeah, I want to meditate for the start at least. Hey Esme, how you feeling? All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So let me actually set the difference because we're using the advanced, very, very high quality microphone because I had some technological problems. And let's get to it. So we've got here I was not gonna do yours because yours sucks. I'm joking. Doesn't at all. I just have a weird sense of humor. No, I mean like I don't know, I literally just finished a reading that was so similar to yours that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, we're talking she had sun, moon, square Neptune like you do. She was a new moon baby like you are. Um, so why the hell not? So, anyways, I do whole sign astrology. Your chart's gonna change a lot. Just get used to it. It's a different route. Also I have to have sounds going in the background because I have like a big computer problem. It makes like a really annoying cricketing sound. So I just have like my video game on, like just like autoplay. Um, you probably can't hear it, but it's literally like the only thing. I don't hear anything side noise canceling, and you should too. But still, like even with the noise canceling, I feel like it's just like this grinding, like noise from my computer, and it sucks. And yeah. So just letting you know, but I don't think you would hear anything. But yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Let's start. So, so you were born right after like maybe 7 degrees. So like yeah, like half a day after, maybe 12-ish hours after a new moon in Aries. Um, actually, hold up, let me test sound. I'm so paranoid right now. Um, test, test. If I'm this far back, can you hear me? Oh, it's such good sound. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, and she also had, wow, crazy. She also had a seventh house, sun and moon. So lots of similarities, but lots of differences. And she's born like 25 years before you, or 20 years before you. I think it was 65. Who cares? Um, anyways, so when you're born on a new moon, just like the energy of a new moon, which we just had one actually today. So maybe there's like a reason I'm doing two new moon babies back to back. But it really is. Actually, hold up 1 second. I need to do something. 1 second. Sorry. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? Okay. We're back. Um I need to get done my friend, she is like an animal intuitive, and Esme is going through some problems, and she did like a whole healing for Esme, and I just told her I would kind of give her like a little mini like current astrology just rundown. Is it kind of like a way of saying thank you? So yeah, I just did that because I know I would like I wasn't gonna do it. Um, so anyways, just like 15, 16 minutes. Um, so I knew I didn't. So 16. So I think we're 7 minutes in. So um it's been that right now, and then I'll go. So yeah, when you have like the Aries energy, first sign, new moon, new beginnings karmically, you're here to really claim your own sovereignty, your own independence. Um, relationships are very important. And because of the Saturn on the South Node, um, it's not unlikely. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you were someone who's very, very powerful in a past life. Um, like boss, past life energy, especially in Scorpio, right? So, um, you know, what can happen and looking for fixed, yeah. Like with South Node in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus, karmically, you are trying to go towards finding your own peace, right? People with South Node in Scorpio, like they've been through a lot, you know what I mean? And the highest energy of um Taurus is heaven on earth. So it's like about stabilizing oneself. So the fact that you have that North Node, and then that you're Libra rising, there's like Venus is ruling your chart and your North Node. So that makes the Venus in Aries retrograde very, very important. Now, this is very rare, Venus retrograde natally. And it's with Mercury, Black with Lilith. So, hmm, that's interesting. That's fascinating. I think that, huh, I think that a lot of like the key lesson is around independence. I already said the word sovereignty, but like around really, really being able to be your own person. Sometimes South and Scorpio people like they almost like combine like too much with other people. I don't know how it's explained. Like it's like having like an over reliance um on um even something like astrology, like something that gives like power, um, you know, like that, or just like being like having alliances with very strong people. So in this life, they're often pushed into situations where yes, it's in the eighth house, so you do need to like find that real. It's really about finding the balance between Scorpio and Taurus, which is the balance between um security, balance itself, grounding, and taking risks. But when I see South Node or North Node and Taurus, I always think this person is here. It's kind of like their time to chill. It's kind of their time to take it easy a little bit. Like they've been through it. Um, so yeah. Um, Overall, the Venus retrograde, the fact that all this energy like falls into that. The thing about Venus retrograde people, so there's a major potential for codependency in your chart, for having relationships be Um, and are you from the US? Yeah. Like having relationships be too I guess important. Um, in the sense like like a lot like people with Venus retrograde sometimes they have like past life wounding around past life wounding around self-love, and they really have to come into this lifetime and they will get tested in a sense to where because you have all this seventh house energy, right? But really, so when you have all this seventh house, which is the house of marriage, the house of partnerships, and all that, um, it can feel difficult with your sun, your moon there. It can feel difficult to really feel like you're at your best outside of a relationship, right? So part of the life karmic mission for you is to find passions and to find to find it within your soul, to find it within your depths, um to to truly be happy um alone and not require a relationship to kind of dictate that, right? A lot of Venus retrograde people, there's it's past lives where they like, either over or underuse the archetype of Venus, right? A lot of people think it's just like romantic love. No, it's self-love. I always say it. I'll say it many times. So it's self-love that gets, you know, that gets projected outwards. So I think that like a major important part would be finding, because like even like a Libra, like you have a lot of the indicators of potential codependency, potential need, like difficulty being single. And Libra risings usually are very attractive. So I mean, or like have like a very attractive aura, right? An energy that people find very it's Venusian energy, right? It's divine feminine. So um yeah, that's the challenge, right? It's like because like it's not that you're not gonna be like you are meant to be in relationships 1,000%. And if you're married, I would not be surprised. But there's a certain karmic test that has to get passed. Um, or else what happens is the individual um the individual sort of, I guess you could say, sort of puts too many eggs in the relationship basket. And when they're doing that, that's applying a bunch of pressure, right? And then you have, yeah. So um when it comes to relationships, Aries Venus is a go-getter in relationships. Like they will chase their partner, but then they will seek out freedom. And seek out, because like as an Aries, that's a sign of individuality, right? So it's like they might go get, be big go-getters, but then hold up, I'm getting up real quick. You won't be able to hear me. Okay. Yeah. So that's the key, right? once that pass has been that test has passed, once that test has been passed, the universe has been shown. Oh, just spilled something down. Totally, totally not my cat's fault. Totally my fault. Oh my God. Okay. Um. SOS. I spilled a bunch of. So yeah. Like yeah. This has like all the warnings for like for potential codependency. So that's part of the life purpose, right? It's like as I said, understanding that any seventh house sun, one of the key things in their life is relationships, but because it's Venus retrograde, it's a realignment of your values. Um, it's about like so a lot of people with Venus retrograde, they could be single for a little bit when they're younger, right? They could be single. They could have periods of, karmically meant to be single, so that they can reevaluate, what they value in themselves and then what they value in others, because there's something from past incarnations where they were, something was off, maybe they were valuing the wrong things, right? Which is obviously subjective, but when you have in your chart, I think that also some cool things about Venus retrograde is that it makes someone super artistic, very abstract minded, very, very capable in the arts. Be right back last time. Oh my God. Ugh. How did that just happen? Okay, we move on. Last distraction. So yeah, so there's definitely very special artistic talents with the Venus retrograde for sure. They're very capable. There's a lot of like the best artists, musicians, all that. No, I mean there's a like a huge proportion of people with Venus retrograde. Like, and if they're not artists, they just have like a deep understanding of the arts, right? They might feel like they communicate better through more abstract, metaphoric type of communication. Um, so being Aries though, right? So what so like it's the first sign. So it's really, really like a lot of new karma in this lifetime. Um, and it comes from lifetimes where you were, held back, right? Where you were held back, either held back, right, is one extreme, or where you were like I just see with the Saturn in the Scorpio, like someone who is like very powerful, second house, and very, very much in like the kind of material world, like not so much attached to like um the spiritual and whatnot, right? So when that happens, you kind of skip over that, and it pushes one, and or it's pushing, your soul is at the level now where it's trying to get past any kind of past life tendencies to be a little bit more in the material, right? And that's also what Venus is. Venus is also, money and the finer things in life. So maybe like it has to do with spending, maybe it has to do with how you value things. You have Pluto, well, it's basically rising. So like that's where, I'll draw a line with the classes full sign thing. But what I will say is that, you know, even as a Libra rising, you have this very, very strong energy that people feel, and it almost gives you kind of like a scorpionic vibe. And yeah, like it's very, very real, very raw. It can be a little bit intimidating for some people, but like the thing is, Libra is so sweet, right? Um, and Scorpio, did my microphone just go out? I swear I saw something. I'm just like PTSD. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Yeah. So I need that one. There. Oh, yeah, it's so nice. Oh, it's because it's on here. No, whatever. Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. Okay. So yeah, basically like when you're Pluto rising, even like Libra rising, it's all sweet, 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 sweet. Sometimes you have to watch out for like the whole people pleasing thing. Um, like a lot of times people with that, they don't want to upset people, and they'll put they'll put other people above them just to kind of restore order and have order be good. Now, the fact you have Pluto there, and I know a lot of Scorpio Pluto people, whether it's ascendant, sun, moon, mostly sun and ascendant, and they're powerhouses. Um, a lot of them, like I've seen being very good in business, very, very good with like kind of the diplomatic side, but also like the don't fuck with me side, that Libra often lacks, and more decisive. Um, so yeah, this is actually a very interesting chart because it's like look at the shape of it. It's like all this over here and then like opposing this over here. Um, ooh, we got that nice. I love Mars and Taurus. Um, but yeah, okay. So let's get down to this. So yeah, you get it. You're an Aries. You understand what Aries is about. Aries moons are very impulsive emotionally. Trust me, I live with one, date one. Um, and to be a double Aries, if you don't have a gym membership or if you're not doing some shit that's like getting your energy moving, I'm going to send a SWAT team. I'm just joking. But no, like you need like every Aries needs something, or else they just smoke a bunch of weed. That's like not everyone, but I've seen that so many times. People who have like a ton of Aries can't handle that fire, and then they just smoke a bunch of weed and blow it out. They need a physical outlet. It's the most physical sign. It's the dominant sign. It's very assertive. So, like, understand that you have the gift of you know of being very empowered, right? Of being of being able to like have this very masculine energy, right? In the sense of like masculine Aries, the most masculine sign, right? Um, I mean, this is kind of the chart of like a famous person. Like I've seen a lot of famous charts that have this shape. Although usually it's like more of this is like more over here. This is like more like, yeah, it's a very relational chart because a lot of the planets are in the seventh, eighth. Those are two very like relational. So like a lot of your life purpose is around romance, but like with the North Node in Taurus in the eighth, it's like really, really asking you to go through the death, rebirth, transformation process, right? It's the snake shedding the skin, and with yeah. So it's like I think that maybe there's been some fears in past lives, even though it is South Node in Scorpio. It's with Saturn, right? So there could be some repression. And it's just really about getting down to the real nitty and gritty, the real kind of dark stuff that none of us want to look at. We have to really, really grow, we have to look at this stuff, right? We have to truly look at it. So, it takes a lot of bravery, I think. Um, yeah, but yeah, I think from second Saturn to eighth with Ceres, I think that there's also this level of self-compassion and being there for yourself, right? Does that make sense? So self-compassion and being there for yourself, especially during the difficult times. Especially during the difficult times. Um, and you're able to be like a very, very like stable nurturer to others. And it could be part of your destiny to be a healer. But first you have to go through that process on your own. And one of the best ways you can do that is through through this deep dive into the unconscious, into your own unconscious. Let me stare at this one too. Hmm. Yeah, so And then having Mars in the eighth is a very Mars is your action. Your so Mars so as a double Aries, right? The planet that rules your sun and moon is this. It's Mars. So it's in Taurus, which is a great placement because it's like slow and steady wins the race. But because you have this like very sparky, fiery, like let's go energy here. Which also, you have to watch out for throwing yourself into relationships too fast. That's also shown by the fact that Black Moon Lilith is on the descendant, which could make someone like also like potential like for being combative. But this is what's so interesting. This is very, very important. I'm doing whole sign. If this is a Placidus chart, all of this is in the sixth house. Game changer. And this is where the seventh house starts in Placidus, right? The descendant. So from that, this sixth house with Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, like all the Aries in the sixth, that's a lot different. And that needs to be spoken about because it's such a massive part of your chart. So I've spoken about like the relational part, like aspect, and the importance of that. Either way, that's going to show up because, you're going to have Mars in your seventh in Placidus and your North Node in your seventh. So very karmic partners and a great drive towards relationships. 27. And then, yeah. So the thing is, like with the sixth, that is about service. And it's about how, it's about, yeah, it really, really is about being a leader. Aries, the leader, right? Aries, the leader, and being someone who is able to, really, really through their life. So the sixth house rules like where you work, right? Whereas it rules your day to day. It's Virgo energy, right? So it rules where you work, your day to day life. So it's like your mental, spiritual, emotional, physical health, all that stuff, right? Um, so a lot of people with sixth house suns, it's very, very strong karma, right? It's like they're here to be, to really, really help out in this new world that we're coming into. Believe what you want. I I believe that the clients I attract are super karmic. Um, I mean, this has been proven to me over and over again. And I believe that I attract special clients who, I mean, obviously, I believe everyone's special, not to be cheesy. I really, 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 truly do. I just don't think everyone has found, their niche of specialty, That's my like how I truly feel. Um, I don't think anyone's better than anyone. I mean, people, are at higher points. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a complicated one. But I think that charts like this are the leaders of tomorrow. Like someone in my store in my messages said something along the lines of like the new world is up for grabs or something, it's for the taking. And I think we kind of live in a way where, a lot of us sort of feel this feeling like, oh, like everything's fucked, blah blah blah, like, there's no way I can make it. But like it's really about that trust in the divine, and being an Aries, double Aries is like go, 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 but you have to check yourself. Aries moons, like I said, emotionally reactive, right? So you're a leader, but you have to get past these things that can self deprecate, or self sabotage, because an Aries moon sometimes cannot. That's why like it's so important for them to find like any kind of grounding, um because it's difficult for them, it's difficult for them in the heat of conflict to to ground themselves, even as a Libra rising. Pluto's there, so it's like sometimes Pluto can want to dominate, you know and not always. There's low vibe and high vibe Pluto rising, but like, you know it is something. um it is something that exists with that energy. So there's a whole lot in the chart, related to this. And I don't know. I just think that the importance of all this is, like, of being able to ground, being able to have kind of go-tos, um especially when it comes to spirituality, right? Like having that spiritual relationship with yourself is so important. Because like you're so radiant and capable of like being someone that inspires others, I truly believe Aries is a sign that when they get an idea and they're like, I want to do this, unless they have like a lot of unresolved trauma around action and assertiveness, which like, your Chiron's in Gemini, so we'll talk about that. But like, I think that they're just like they're able to do it, you know, and more than any other sign, they're able to start. But the question is, can they follow through? Now, this is the beauty of your Mars and Taurus. But yeah, I guess to conclude what I was saying earlier, like the sixth house, like if this is all in the sixth house, then this is speaking to like you, um you being meant to really, really, really be of service, and also like to yourself, um and to really find like a healthy diet, healthy routine. Pets also, Venus in the sixth house, so massive for pets. Pets being super healing. Um, what else? Not six. Mm, perfectionism. So yeah. Um, yeah, there's no Virgo in the chart, but sixth house, like because a stellium is either in the sixth or the seventh, depending on the system you use. If you had an astrology dream before, most astrologers use Plastis. Um, like they probably told you about the sixth house, right? So it really is important to understand both, because like I have a chart like yours, right? Like my ascendant is 28.5 Leo. And so yours is 27, which means that we both have the same effect where everything gets shifted back a bunch, right? Um, so yeah, it's just important to understand this, and to really know that there like in my experience of many other people, whole sign Plastis, it's like a different story. Like the story ends up the same. You just hear it in a different way, you know? It's like some divine magic shit. But yeah, so like I just wanted to kind of really like talk about like the sixth house is um like also it's very related to karmic imbalances, especially Venus there. So there could be like lots of karmic relationships where you're meant to like balance things out karmically. Like maybe like one person screwed the other person over in last lifetime, or maybe not even screwed over. Like there's just like some undealt with stuff. Um, and there's just relationships where the energy needs to get settled, or where there needs to, be love, and it's important to like not like have that like low vibe Aries energy, um, where the person kind of loses their shit, you know. So that's the Aries moon journey. It's like very raw. You can never keep an Aries moon down, right? But at the same time, yeah, so they're very tough, but sometimes that impulsivity can get the best of them, and they can really, really regret things. Um, and it's just really important to like understand that, because it's a superpower to be an Aries moon. You know, that strength, people beg for that. People beg for that sense of personal power, you know? People dream about that. So, yeah, it's not every day. Not every day you get a Libra moon. What else about Libra or Aries moon? This was me. What else can I say about Aries moon? Yeah, fire moon, you know. So it's like you need adventure, you need independence. There's like, you know, under stress, you'll want to, you'll want to compete, you'll want to, go on an adventure, you'll want to, it's kind of just like a very, very like it's, I wouldn't say rebellious, but like, they can be stubborn, but not like stubborn like Taurus stubborn, like stubborn more like sometimes a little bit arrogant. I'm not calling you that, by the way. I'm just saying like sometimes they just think like it can be a little bit childish, Aries energy, right? Which is good, but not bad. Like not when it's like, immature, childish, like in serious situations where it's not called for, right? Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, I just think the Black Moon Lilith on the Descendant would, yeah, I just definitely think that like Mars and Black Moon Lilith being close to Descendant, it can make relationships kind of, at least earlier in life, like feel like kind of a battleground, and where you feel a lot of your shadow, and maybe where there's like potentially lots of fights, but also I think that there's a lot of karmic relationships and a big drive towards relationships. Um, so yeah, okay, let's see. So okay, so the Mercury in Aries, that makes someone very like quick talker, quick thinker. Um, it's with Venus, so that's a nice placement. It's with Uranus. That's a genius placement. I love that. Mercury trine Genus. Mercury trine Uranus makes an outside the box thinker, and I already know this shit, so check this out. Let me cook. I know this. It's like I've just seen this so many times. Um, this is why I'm like kind of starting to stop sharing my readings on YouTube, because I'm like I'm just dishing out way too much shit. Like I should be paid for this, even though like I do like helping people. It's like these are secrets. Like I've had to work my ass off, to find this stuff. But check this out. Chiron is your pain. It's in Gemini. So Gemini Chirons often have like early on, because they were misunderstood because of this Mercury Uranus energy, which makes you think very outside the box, right? Makes you different than other people. Um, so it makes you different than other people, and growing up, you probably had different interests, right? Um, so what happens, and your Venus is there too. Like there's so many original ideas, but and you're able to communicate them with ease. It's a good aspect, but it's like very ahead of your time, and your ideas and your opinions, maybe even ahead of your parents, right? Like a new moon child, oftentimes the parents, it's good relationship between them. I think I said that earlier, or maybe that was last reading. Two new moons in a row, but like, it's just like a new moon in this lifetime, right? So it's like, we just had a new moon, right? So like I said, so it's like it's a new clearing energy. Like a lot is cleared out, so there's a lot of fate um in this incarnation for you being born on a new moon. But there's also a lot of darkness, right? Like a new moon is dark physically, so there's a lot. in the unconscious that has to be there's less light for you to be able to see, right? It's more like you have to kind of like, and because the masculine and the feminine are concentrated in the same energy, um, there's often a lack of other elements, right? Like in your case, water, you have no water, right? You have no outer planets in water, but you have your south node there. So there's some been there, done that with water, but yeah, you have no Cancer, no Pisces, and no personal planets in Scorpio. Pluto doesn't count. Um, and Saturn, is not a personal planet. South node is not a planet. And then, with Earth, you have that. With fire, you have that. With air, I don't think you have that. You have Jupiter, which, it's kind of like a middle planet, but yeah, realistically, and you have your ascendant. So air, you're good. So it's really water. So you have to like take baths, maybe swim. If you live by a lake or something like that, like getting out, like being by the water is very healing for you. Going out in rain, and also with your Neptune squares, which we'll get into next. But before that, I just want to say like, you know, you could be like a natural healer because you have Vertex on Chiron. But like I'll get back to what I was saying, so Chiron, Gemini, with Vertex, it's like there's lots of purpose around you as a healer. And it's your doorway to higher awareness is to heal this, what I'm about to talk about. So, okay, Chiron and Gemini people, they because they're so ahead, right? I always see this with like Mercury in Uranus aspects or something that shows that they're like ahead of their time, right? So let's say you have all these ideas, you're very, very intelligent, but like they're a little bit controversial, or like people just, I don't know, whatever. Like, so, and maybe just hypothetical. Let's say your parents are really, really religious, whatever, something like that. And you have like ideas about aliens or something very interesting early on. Um, Government conspiracies, I don't know, whatever, right? Conspiracies. Um, like you get demonized. And then as a young kid, you start to doubt your own thought process. You start to think I'm stupid or there's something wrong with the way I think, right? Which is the worst possible fucking thing. So, um, overall, that's what happens, right? Doubting your own thought processes, fearing communicating with other people. There, some people have like a communication problem as a child. Um, and then through your own, and then also it's ninth house, so it's like feeling rejected for your own beliefs, your big picture beliefs. But then you go on this like great journey to truly find your true beliefs, right? And Gemini rules the house of Mercury and and Aries, so it's like very, very dynamic energy of like really wanting to like talk to lots of people about truth and about what really matters. Now, so that kind of just goes and shows like some of the pain and what needs to get what gets resolved, and then through that one's able to be an amazing communicator and someone who can inspire through their ideas and who can push things to a new level, right? You have Jupiter in Aquarius on the IC, so that usually speaks to a very pleasant childhood. Jupiter on the IC, right? A very, at least a childhood where one was able to um to really, 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 really grow, and to feel as though they were you know to feel as though they were thriving, to like that they were going through this process of like it makes one like, internally, like even during dark times, like very optimistic, right? And it's in Aquarius, so it's someone who's a seeker of the new, of the inspirational, the future, like very, very humanitarian, um like very, very new ideas, right? So, and someone who thinks on their own and who really wants to help the world. So that makes sense with all the sixth house placements, right? Um, it would make sense why you'd be like a leader, you know, and your midheaven is in Leo. So that's someone who wants to like really, really make a difference, in their career and their dharma, who wants to like really put their foot down and yeah, like really make a difference in the world. And yeah. Um yeah, I just love that Jupiter, like I see like I just love how like they're able to like really see the glass is half full um during the darkest times. It's such a good karmic aspect. And in terms of the home, people with this put like a lot of effort into their home. They love their home. A lot of times they like larger homes. They want to expand their talents through their own home. They want to learn a lot within their home. Like kind of like wide open spaces near the ocean's really nice, or near any kind of lake or water. And yeah, just like that sense of expansiveness, whether the house is large or not. Um, feeling like they can really expand themselves through their home. And it makes the home a very, very like fortunate place. Hey, Fittix, did you ring a bell? No. Um, Also, it's very, very good through inheritances and for like property, um, you know, like in like real estate investment, stuff like that. So yeah, really favorable position. Really good for living a long, comfortable life, achieving your goals. Really, really great. Um, Especially if you follow like the kind of follow your heart and what you really, really believe in, to be true. So yeah, part of fortune in the first house in Libra. You know, we'll get into that later. Yeah, so I think with the money thing, Saturn and Pluto in the second, like literally that is so tough. And I just believe like I've seen it so many times. People who have, one or two of those who make a ton of money. And sorry if I already said this, I can't remember what I said in the last reading to this one. Um, like they grow up poor a lot of times, and they they hustle, they kill it, because they have past lives where they're on like where they're really restricted, where they're on survival mode. So they have this like fear in the back of their head. They have to get past. It's like emotional poverty, right? Um, and usually it's financial poverty early in life, and through hard work they develop everything. And it's Saturn and Scorpio, which we'll talk about in a sec. But like Pluto there, it can give like obsession, right? But like there's like the link between changing possessions and changing inner values, and the importance of having like the strong metaphysical and the strong physical, right? The need to balance like the spiritual, metaphysical, and the materialistic physical, and have one foot in both worlds. Because Pluto's second house, people can get obsessed with work, and then God's like, nah, like you have a larger mission, right? So yeah, I don't know. Third house, we'll talk about it in a sec. Yeah, so I was talking like the Mars and Taurus, just like it's like, so you have all this Aries energy. It's so good at self-starting. Um, but then the Mars in Taurus, which also like you could be someone who like works with their partner. Um, but it gives you the ability to follow through. It's so much needed, and to be balanced and be consistent. So you can be like a really big powerhouse, and it's with your North Node, right? So it's like you're meant to find stability, right? You're really, really also in this lifetime trying to karmically overcome your distrust of changes, right? It's like also about creative outlets to channel like these very intense emotions, right? So yeah, like a lot of times the South Node Scorpio people have like traumatic endings to past lives, and karma carried over, wounds and whatnot, feeling of being cheated. Um, so yeah, it really is like the karmic lesson is about trusting the process of change, and then through that trust, you start to see, well, God really has my back, especially when I'm like doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, and then you just kind of go with it, and it makes sense. So one of the beautiful things about sometimes Venus is like it gives one the ability to truly see the beauty and the good parts of their partner. It's really really nice. But Black Moon Lilith is with Venus, but also Mercury with Venus, right? So that makes someone like a very healing speaker. They can express themselves in a very loving manner. Um, they love to talk to people. Really, really good listener. Good at the whole give and take ratio, which Aries usually aren't. Usually Aries just take, 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 without even acknowledging it or seeing it. So it's really important for Aries to have self-awareness and to slow down, to have, oh my God, look how cute this is. Mika. So cute. She was just staring into my soul. Love you so much, Mika. Oh my God. She's so cute. My, my biggest baby. And this one here. And the small one, we don't know where she is, but she's usually, oh, she's right here. Esme. The boy. Okay. Yeah. So like all this Aries energy, it can be like too much fire for people. It's very important to like be mindful and to really understand because you need to grow the water in you. So finding movies that make you cry, journaling, dream journaling, talking about your emotions, really like getting like fire is sensitive, so it can definitely like feel this stuff. I'm not saying that like like not having water makes you not emotional, but like taking baths, drinking lots of water, um like going out and cleansing yourself in the rain, stuff like that, um living by water would be awesome, as I said before, but you know what I mean, like it's just very very important to it's very important to understand that like it's kind of like a creative practice. It's very very important to just like think, okay, how can I increase my intuition? So like how can I increase my like, so like donating to charity, like doing stuff for the collective, right? um that's very very important. um Things that kind of put you in touch with with these energies, right? Things that put you in touch with compassion, with that increase your intuition, that increase your heart chakra meditations, all kinds of stuff like that, right? That's really important. Yeah, is it? Yeah. Um. Yeah, you're a go-getter for sure. Um. Scratchy beard. So yeah, the Chiron in the ninth, like, yeah, it would make someone like really want to like heal their belief system and go out in the world, and vertex there, like it's just like through your but yeah, the Chiron would be the eighth. So sometimes Chiron eighth can be like sexual trauma. I see that a lot. I don't really like to go into it, but a lot of times I do see that. um but it can overall just be trauma related to vulnerability also, and just difficulty with like expressing that. Okay, Neptune time. We haven't even talked about these. Are the like some of the biggest parts of the whole reading. Sun and Moon square Neptune, major. Um, so also just like with the Moon conjunct Sun, like new Moon. Um, it's like the life includes a new beginning, at least in one area, right? I want to kind of throw that in there. And it can also make people a little bit self-centered sometimes and narrow-minded, because they can sometimes only see they can like lack objectivity and perspective. So it's really important to like kind of ask other people like, how do you feel about this? Like like really be aware of how other people see you, because I've seen very Aries people, like it's almost like they like their energies are so intense, they like kind of fire through, like overburn. I forgot what my mom, she had like a term for it, like just like fire through other people. So yeah, just yeah, being really focusing on like listening and the good, because you have so much fire. Okay, so where was I? Okay, well, I guess I could talk about yeah, we're going Neptune, but I was like Neptune or love. Okay, well, Neptune then love. Okay, so Neptune square moon. Basically, people I tell that, it's like you probably have taken on a lot of energy from your mother. Not necessarily, but super sympathetic. I was trying to say um sympathetic and sensitive at the same time. Super sensitive and sympathetic and intuitive, and just the energetic walls are lower, right? Um, when you're young, you pick up on subtle energies, nonverbal cues, all this stuff, telepathy, right? Like psychic abilities. So this is very strong for people with psychic abilities. So if there's any negativity, usually like from the mother, um, like early on when you're really young, it would shape your whole life like significantly, right? Like whether she was like acting like a victim, any kind of like addiction stuff, depression, whatever, it can make one kind of like want to like it can really make one take on those behaviors, like if she has guilt or shame and think that they're their own. Of course, it's like if it was more healthy, which it seems like it would with your chart with the new moon and the Jupiter and the IC, then it's not as challenging. And then you might actually feel more of the positive energy there. But still, Moon square Neptune, it can create someone who's so sensitive that they have trouble connecting. Um, not connecting, they have trouble like being able to like truly like help people, even if they're the best healers, because they feel things so deeply and like they can feel other people's pain. So they have to learn energetic protection. And also they have to learn how to like spend time alone. And that's so important with your Venus retrograde too, right? Um, but like one of the best things with Moon square Neptune is to film yourself, like because it rules cameras and mirrors. So like talking in the mirror, filming yourself, and just like becoming familiar, overcoming shyness, right? But by sharing your emotions, like people will listen, right? So expressing your emotions is like the critical thing to dealing with this aspect. Um, like which can be hard, right? Because there can be some paranoia with this, but when you do that, you get vital feedback. Also from your dreams, like Neptune, so your dreams can be very prophetic. So I would dream journal, or at least like kind of meditate on your dreams when you wake up and kind of like create that bridge between your reality and dreams. But yeah, sharing your suffering is amazing. It makes you a dreamer, a storyteller. Like it's really great for like anything artistic, writing, poetry, acting, all that stuff, right? So then you also have the sun squaring it. So that one's a little bit different. Um that obviously super powerful imagination, right? So this actually kind of makes up for the lack of water in your chart if we actually think about it. Um but there's like a lot of battles, I guess you could say, that need to be overcome um for someone with these to feel truly confident, um if that makes sense, like to like because like Neptune square sun, uh usually until one like finds a spiritual direction, they can go into these like endless, like they just feel like their sense of like identity is like eroded, like they have a lot of like identity crisis type energy. So that's very, very common. And yeah, the cure for it is that spiritual relationship with self. And through that you're able to ascend and truly objectively see yourself, um which is what a gift that is. um but yeah, a lot of people with that aspect, they're usually forced to like really deal with like this like kind of something weak in their reality from a young age, right? um and yeah, they can become victimized and have like lots of self-doubt. They can be quite gullible to energy vampires, so it's really, really important for you, like when you have Neptune. So you have Aries, right? So you're very strong, but then it's square Neptune, so it's kind of like Aries slash Pisces, which is super interesting, right? I'm not saying you're an Aries slash Pisces, but Neptune is in a hard aspect to your sun and your moon, so it does become like, you know Neptune is Pisces, right? So all that stuff about water, that actually kind of gets these aspects actually kind of take care of that. So it's essentially like you do have water, right? But they're squares, they're not conjunctions, so they have to be worked on. And the best way to work on them is to meditate and to give back, and kind of the same stuff I was saying before. But it's through, whether it's art, whether it's you know charity, whether it's your actual work, um social causes, whatever, like that's what helps one with this, overcome like this self-doubt, right? Also, like with Neptune, you have to watch out for like alcohol and poisons and stuff like that. They can be very, very toxic. But yeah, it's really about self-esteem and overcoming, um that kind of stuff, right? Um, but yeah, really, really good for creative work. And someone who like, yeah, really like perceives the world differently than most. And um, usually, especially with like the culture and the family you grew up with. So you know, I don't know. I'm curious if you grew up in a religious family. Um, I think you definitely would have like become quite skeptical. Um, well, but sometimes people with this, like they lacked any kind of spirituality growing up, but then they feel like strongly drawn to it. Like events happen that kind of push them down that, like make them really like think deeper about things. So yeah, it's that decompassion. But yeah, self-deception is the key. And that shows up in love. So like speaking about love, speaking about love, Venus retrograde, like I said, you have to watch out for the like, having that be too big of a thing. The fact that it's trine Uranus, that just makes you like really enjoy independence in your relationships, intellectual stimulation, and you're able to like really give, like you love freedom as the Aries moon, and with this, and you're able to give freedom very well. I swear over half my clients have Aries Venus. I do not understand it at all. I just don't get it. I don't know. I wish I had an answer of why. It's just so random. But they tend to be kind of, yeah, go getters in love. But like when I tell them that, they're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, oh God. But yeah, like probably someone who is attracted to like more eccentric types. Esme, stay here. You want to help? Okay. Everything, Esme. look at the thing I have to look at. No, don't click on the computer. Okay, Esme, look. Esme, look. Bad girl. Okay, and then Uranus in, yeah, so with the whole second house, like I said, like there can be like lots of fear around money, but then there's also like this real go-getter energy with Vesta there. Someone who can really, yeah, really go get that cash, that moolah. Someone who's really committed to their work, dedicated to it, all that stuff. But there can be like obsession with it. And fear of losing it all, even if it's like a very rational fear. Uranus in the third, that is amazing placement. That makes one like a super like original thinker, original writer. Their ideas, it kind of goes with what I was saying earlier. Ideas are going to be ahead of their time. They enjoy unusual subjects. They like to talk about things that other people probably don't, especially when you're younger. And also with siblings, it can create like a very unusual relationship with the siblings. There could be some like kind of, if you have siblings, like some kind of fog around that relationship, like some real confusion, some real unique stuff. And then also being able to like really create through your intuition. Shorts getting hot. Do it after, I guess. But yeah, really being able to create through intuition. Very strong. And then also, yeah, just that's kind of what I would say there. 27. And just the chance that like, money can be in 1 minute, gone the next, like it can be very up and down with money. So it's just really important to have those values, those spiritual values when it comes to that. Okay. So yeah, Palace is on your moon, so you are just you know, just very keen intellect, someone who's, can risk putting their ideas into action. And someone who just has like an overall strategy. Lots of reflection, lots of strategy. Like it's like this instinctive need with the mood to with the moon to like really retreat and formulate plans before making any like emotional leap of faith. So it makes one a born strategist. It's an awesome placement. So dope. And Eris on Mercury can make you very volcanic in your communications. So yeah, just that need for that cooling down of the Aries. Mm, and yeah, Black Moon Lilith with Venus. It's just kind of saying that like your kind of lower tendencies, I guess you could say, can come out. Like there can be because it's in Aries, right? So Lilith is like your self-limit, like how you like you at your worst, you at your lowest vibration, but how you can also change that, right? Um, so it can bring like very unconventional relationships. It makes someone very sexually charged also. And by the way, I have no idea what you look like. Zero idea. Zero idea. Um, but it's really, really good for like pumping into creative endeavors. Yeah, especially with the retrograde. Um, it can make someone like very, very like strong sexual appetite, like really fixated like one person, like lots of raw, and like it's also related to magic, right? And rituals and manifestation. Um, so and sexual experimentation, there's all these kinds of like breaking taboos, right? Um, so yeah, it's like that femme fatale image is a good way of putting it. Else. There's also this feeling because you have all this freedom energy of like potentially feeling like suffocating in relationships. So like there is a lot of need for space that I will have to keep repeating.
I don't know if I said this last reading. I apologize, but believe in sleeping in separate bedrooms. I believe in having your own space and having energetic breaks, like periods of time where you don't see each other or talk that much. It's really important, I think, to kind of re-spice things up. Um, so yeah, it's all about sovereignty in relationships. So yeah, it's like really about honoring your boundaries without compromising your values is like the best way I can put it. Like, yeah, honoring, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That works. Um, let's think. But it's very seductive, Venus and Lilith. I mean, that's sexy. Yeah, very artistic too. Just like magnetic, but sometimes it can attract like the wrong kinds of people, like very dangerous people. And because you have some of these other energies there, you gotta watch out. Um, because like if Venus retrograde, like if this is like like if this is like low Aries like energy, like if like the whole lessons of like being alone it hasn't been learned, it could like yeah really attract like the wrong types of people, like very dark types. Um, also you have Sun trine Saturn. That's really dope. Um, that just gives like a lot of common sense, lots of intelligence, lots of organization. It's very good for success. I have the sextile, and it's great. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So eighth house series, like just yeah, like I mean, just when you really feel like the deep kind of transformation, that's when you're at your best, essentially, right? When you're really feeling like you're taking spiritual risks. So yeah, with love, also like your Juno's in the 12th, Placidus in Libra. So um, that's just like really wanting that fairness, and it's a very karmic marriage if you're married, or very very karmic, and very very spiritually intertwined, and just a very fair and equal and peaceful relationship. Someone who provides you with a sense of um peace, and of just tranquility. Like yes, things can get intense, but harmony is ultimately what's important. Like um you know and yeah, I definitely think there's a very big karmic component too, because like the North Node would be in the in in the seventh, in Placidus. But so yeah, I mean, there's the potential for very good or very bad relationships. Like depending on the work you do, it's all dependent on that. Okay, let's pull the stars up. So yeah, like as Aries moon, like I don't think you would do well with like a very boring person. I mean, like I think you need someone who's fun but also balanced. But like also like I don't like saying anything like that because I'm like anyone can work with anyone. You know what I mean? Like any two charts can really work if they really love each other on a soul level. I truly believe that. Okay, let's look at stars and asteroids. Close conjunctions only. You saw what I was looking at right now. You'd be like, how do you fucking see? My eyes. I'm looking like a million super close together things. What's this? It's not that. Nope. Eros on your moon. You and Psyche on your moon. So you are a natural psychologist. Um, and a witch. Circe is close to your moon too. So yeah, that's like the poet, the person that wants to probe deep, into the psyche of human beings, and the witch, Um, hold up. So Eros was, yeah, it was on the moon. Um, yeah, so moon with Eros, it can make someone just very passionate, very sensual, very artistic, high sex drive, like, quite obsessive. Um, just like very sensual, you know what I mean? Like lots of sex appeal, very easy to draw lovers in. Um, yeah, like artists, models have this. Um, yeah, yeah, it makes breakups really difficult, like very romantic and idealistic. So, and then Psyche with the moon, um, that can be like ESP power, like super tuned in intuition. Um, like the dreams, like someone who's like a precognitive dreamer, like an intuitive artist who creates like psychic art. Like I said before, like with a Neptune who creates, and then Uranus who creates through their intuition, through their emotions, through their imagination, and very high emotional intelligence. And yeah, just like, just very, very connected to the divine feminine. It's really, really nice. It's the one you want. But Eros was one of those closest to it. And Pallas, that was the one that was closest to Moon, which is back to back. That I've had two Pallas. I didn't even, yeah, on the Moon. No, we already talked about that. That's like the strategist one. No, I had Ceres on the Moon before, or on the Sun. Okay, so you have Urania in the IC. That's the asteroid of astrology. So you might be someone who could do very well learning astrology. I teach one-on-one if you're ever interested. Very affordable. I have like is it 10 or 12? Like I think it's 10, 20, and 50 course packages. They're the best. I have one Saturday, I think, our class. A few students. I have probably room for one more. It's impossible to find a better deal for learning astrology than what I offer. I could be doing 20, 30 people classes, but you know what? That's not me. I don't I would probably cancel half the time. Okay, you have Lilith with your Uranus. So that's two out of the three witch asteroids activated by planets. So you, my friend, are a witch. I'm not just saying that. And a seductress. Oh, never mind. Vesta. That was Cupido. But yeah, you did have seductress energy. Not that it's on purpose. Just there. And lots of spiritual protection. Lots of spiritual protection. So and no, oh never mind. I saw something I didn't. Okay, I need to check one thing. Wait, hold up. Actually, wait. Okay, I need to check one thing real quick. Okay. Okay, now I'm in your Squarespace. So yeah, the relationship stuff, career, life path, meaningful work I'm meant to be doing. As many of us usually about death and grief. I tend. Okay, so the thing with Aries is that sometimes it is difficult because you do lack water in your chart. So it's like with the whole feeling close thing. So it's something you have to really go deep and find, right? Like I lack earth, for example. So I have to really like push myself to find a routine, some kind of balance. Like I can't really drink alcohol very often or my life would go fucking crazy while other people can drink and be fine. So we each have our own struggles. Lacking water, and you can search articles on it too, like on Google, like lacking water element natal chart or something like that, right? And it gives suggestions. Um, I think that the love stuff is pretty well documented at this point. Hold up, let me pull this back up. When you have this much energy in the seventh house, as I've said, like, because you said, relationship struggles, intimacy issues. Yeah, I mean, I didn't read this till now, and I told you about like the Chiron, how that would be in the eighth house, and how a lot of times that relates to intimacy issues. And with the Neptune squares, you see, this is why it's cool how when I read this stuff after, right? Um, oh, and you have Pluto. Oh, I didn't even see you have Mars square Pluto. I didn't even see that. Holy shit. So we have one more big one. But like, um, you know, like it's just really, really, really important. Let me see what was. Um, hold up. Yeah, like with the current eighth house, like and with the Neptune aspects, one can like and it's like the best thing you can do is be of service in your life, and that's like goes to the career thing too. Sometimes we like people with charts like this have to make like sacrifices, but it's about going with your heart, going with your metaphysical value, going with like what feels right, what you know in your heart is what you're meant to do, right? And that's really what it's all about. At the end of the day, because like with the sixth house and then the activation, but also you're here to kind of like, learn to relax. And I think that the love stuff is 1,000% with the retrograde Venus, like 1,000%, one must learn to be happy alone, right? Because like with Venus retrograde, we can go further into it. There's a lot of difficulty in expressing your love freely and your affection for others, right? And a lot of people with that, they feel like they lack emotional fulfillment, and they kind of, like as I was saying earlier, interpret their life based on how much am I loved, or how much am I not getting love or deprived of love, right? Because like one can have a tendency to internalize and exaggerate hurts in emotion, like emotional hurts in relationships, right? So karmically, there's like memories of painful relationships in past lives, right? And a misunderstanding about the real nature of love. Um, you know, and like the prior life stuff can like really like um come up as like an unconscious, like self-sabotaging, cutting oneself away from fully experiencing the richness of love, because they feel like in their souls that they're going to be hurt once more. So a lot of times, like, it's like a reprogramming of the present love relationships that kind of like fit the past life stuff, right? And it's like blocking oneself from happiness because they're trying too hard to achieve it. Like with love, I had to give up, and then I met my girlfriend. Like it was all bullshit until before then. Um, so yeah, like really, really, like the more you can find passions, that's the key. The more you can find passions, that's the key, right? And not needing anyone. Like I had to accept, um, I had to like truly, truly, truly accept I'm gonna be, because like I kept having, like I've had a million, not a million, but I've had a lot of good amount of girlfriends, and um like a lot of them like didn't most of them did not work, and like I had to like get to a point where I was like, you know what? I accept not having anyone forever. Like I'm cool. My life is dope. Like I live, I'm happy with how things are going. This is a few years ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago. And it was only through me saying that. One second. It was only through me saying that. It was only through me saying that to the universe, to God, that I gave up. And then literally right away this person comes. But like I didn't give up in a way where I was like, I'm giving up, but I'm giving up for the sake of someone coming. No, I was like, fuck it. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm done. Whatever. You know? So yeah, I think that the Neptune stuff, like really working on that, I would search, yeah, I would go on YouTube and search like Moon Square Neptune natal, Sun Square Neptune natal on YouTube, and see, like kind of getting like, because like, I could go forever, but like I'm giving you the thing that you can, so like I'm not gonna, my job is to give you something where you understand it, not to where there's so many fucking details that you lose sight of the big picture. Um, Meaningful work I'm meant to be doing. You know, I think it's something service based, maybe psychology, maybe coaching. I think there's, whatever, I don't know you well enough to tell you that, but nothing in astrology says like, this is your job, right? I mean, with a chart like yours, I could see you being good at business. I could see you being good at like, it's really what fills your soul, and only you know that, right? But you're very, very inventive, like anything, technology, like there's so many, like anything is possible. But I would have to do like the next read. So like most people, what they do is that they get this reading, then they get the follow up and the current astrology. So that's a live session. First hour follow up, second hour and third hour is current astrology, which most astrologers, a lot of them, they'll have like a different reading for like I give you all of them: solar return, transits, solar arc, progressed moon or progressed planets, progressed lunar cycle, house ingress, everything, right? Like more, like everything for you to understand a year ahead. So usually it's like 550 for the follow up in that, but and I'll write it down right now and let me know, and no pressure obviously, but I would be happy to offer you that for 370. So that's like a big time. That's like the lowest I can really go on that. Um or 100 for just a follow up, which is just the hour, just about the nail chart. But it's magic to have those sessions. Did I say 370? Yeah, 370 or 100. So yeah, let me know about that. But yeah, because yeah, we kind of have to compare your lived experience with what I see here. I mean, it's not a must, but most people do it. Um, and then we take it a step further, and those sessions are just really special. Death and grief. Yeah, you shift gears more than other people because you're fucking Aries as fuck. Like Aries is that fiery sign. You need to work out. You need to burn so much energy each day. You have to learn mindfulness if you haven't already. You have to really get good with mindfulness and seeing like if there is anger, like seeing it as it comes up, because you're very sensitive. So what can happen is that you can self-sabotage in a way where um you might say something that comes up impulsively, Aries, right? And then the Neptune part of you like feels bad about it after. So um death and grief, like I don't know. I think maybe Chiron in the eighth house could, contribute to that, or Mars in the eighth house. Like but I think it's something you're meant to explore. I recommend the book Pisces Live Nine Lives by Jesse Innocent. Well, I do, but I have a whole chapter on death. But um, yeah, it was like learning about death has been the most important thing in my life. So I have a whole chapter dedicated to that. Um, Another great book is Many Lives, Many Masters. I summarized that book in my book. It's so important that I gave like a summary. And yeah, with the spiritual psychic, I mean, I told you you're a witch. That Neptune energy, like when you understand the difference between intuition and imagination, these are superpowers. These are like magician, like this is like real like legit, like no joke, like this is like the shit. Also, you have the opposition of like of sun and moon and Juno. That's very interesting. I didn't see that till now. um that could definitely create kind of a clash between like who you are and your ideal relationship, you know? Um so it's really important to like make sure that you're nurturing yourself as much as others and vice versa, right? Like there's not like overindulgence. Like the right balance is needed, you know what I mean? So um and then your moon and sun are trying your midheaven. So that gives you like this real intuitive sense. Like tap in your intuition because you intuitively know where you're headed in life, right? Maybe your mother is helping you in that way. And then your son too. So maybe your father also. But your parents and just like yeah, like I don't know. Like you definitely have like very and Saturn trine midheaven, like that's so good for career. Like, so you really can do whatever you want. Like, you have this firepower. It's just with Pluto on ascendant, it can make you very obsessed with things. Saturn trine midheaven, it can make you very organized with your career. It's just solely about one thing. That one thing is about you finding what makes your heart burn, what really, really makes you feel like time flows by. And let me tell you something, I was going to study business and I changed my mind and I did astrology, male astrologer, straight male astrologer, very rare, and best decision I ever made. Yeah, so like the clicking and feeling close, that's the Neptune stuff, like I was telling you before, um like just getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I swear I'm the like speaking about emotions is fucking sucks, but um sometimes you got to do that shit. And when you do it, you start to see that, wow, everyone's not so different. I'm not so different. And it's this beautiful moment. So I think that's the thing. So Mars square Pluto, we didn't talk about this. This is the most volcanic in all astrology. This is the most volcanic aspect. If you see my old list, this can make someone have a strong desire to assert dominance. They need you. I said you need to work out. You quadruple need to work out. If you don't work out, like, that's horrible. You have to. Um, must. But there's so much determination, drive, ambition, endless energy. Like when you put your mind to something, like it's over. But you have to watch out to not overly fire like people, like a flamethrower. You're like a flamethrower. So it's super, super assertive, but sometimes it could turn aggressive. And with all that Aries, you might not even know that you're being aggressive. You might not even be being aggressive, but other people might feel it that way. Um, a lot of times with this, people will challenge your goals. And there can be like a tendency to kind of like bottle up anger, and then like let it all out. So like temper tantrums are very common. So it's really important to channel this into like a very ambitious goal. So or like something physical, like a physical goal, right? Because it gives a very strong work ethic. Um, but yeah, like sometimes it can make like people with this sometimes like they will like fight to the top, fight to be number one, like fuck other people over. And I'm not saying that's you at all. I'm just saying that like I've seen this before. So, and people can feel also very threatened by your power. That's another thing. Pluto rising, square fucking Mars, like people can really like it's like, yeah, you're Libra rising, but like not really. Like you got it's almost like your Scorpio Aries. That's how my Mika cat right here is. Sorry, Mika. And oh, she's a yeah. Uh Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Scorpio rising. So it's like very intense, and it's just really important to like stay focused on your aims. And when people like do fucked up shit to you, it's really important to not like go for revenge. That's the test with this aspect. It is very, very powerful. So yeah, that's everything. So let me know about hold up. Let me know about that stuff about the other reading. Um, I highly recommend it if it's financially feasible. I wrote down the price I gave you. And yeah, that gives us a chance you know, to get live and talk about all the stuff. So yeah, all right. I'm about to probably sleep and go to bed. I don't even know. I didn't really time this one well. I'm not sure if I definitely went over 90 minutes, that's for sure. But thank you so much, and we shall talk later. Ciao.